Hey everybody, this is Bonnie with Bonnie Bay Crochet and welcome to Friday Fun. And as you know, this is a very special Friday, so I wanted to start off with one of my favorite songs. Some of you may know this. It's called "O Sacred Head" by Now Wounded, and this is from the early 1100s by Bernard of okay, I'm going to embarrass myself, but anyway, by a guy named Bernard from the 1100s. All right, go ahead and put that down. And by the way, this is I just figured out I've had this 46 years. You get past a certain age, then the numbers just add up far too quick. But and that was actually old when I was able to buy it down in South Florida in around 1980. So long time ago. One of my favorite instruments, called an alto flute in the key of G, in case anybody is interested in that. Well, welcome to Friday Fun Live, like I said before. And today, as you know, is Good Friday. And I'm going to share with you my little comic from BC that I like to bring out every year. And one of the characters in the first square says, "I hate the term Good Friday." And his friend says, "Why?" And he says, "My Lord was hanged on a tree that day." And his friend says, "Well, if you were going to be hanged on that day and he volunteered to take your place, how would you feel?" His friend says, "Good." And his friend replies, "Have a nice day." So I'll just go ahead and show that. I know it's old. I've shown this several times. It's just one of my very, very favorite by Frank Oz. So anyway, welcome to Friday Fun Live. It's been a great week. It's been an interesting week. A lot of things have happened. Some good, some very sobering, and I'll get to that towards the end of the broadcast. But I hope you all were able to enjoy. I know this has nothing to do with yarn. I'm going to talk about yarn just a bit, but I don't know if how many of you got to see the launch of Artemis live. It was spectacular. And if you haven't seen that or haven't heard about that yet, we're going to the moon again. We're not going to land on the moon, but we're going around it. And it's going to be the furthest that any humans have ever been from Earth that we're aware of, or at least, since modern history. And yeah, it was just phenomenal. I was a kid when the moon launches were happening. My dad felt it very important that I see this and pay close attention, and I'm glad I did. And here we are again. I think it's 54 years since we've been to the moon, if my math is correct. Pretty spectacular stuff. It just makes me wonder all the more, of the cosmos and whatnot. Well, anyway, let me go ahead and get back to the chat here. Linda, Brad's mom, glad to have you there. Thank you for your comment and asking folks to smash that like button. And she says, "Good morning, Bonnie, Hannah, Becky, and all my dear yarnies. Wishing all blessings to everyone on this Good Friday and this upcoming Easter. Please don't forget to smash that thumbs up." Thank you. And I love your comment, Cynthia. She says, "Good Friday blessings to everyone." Oh, and I love this, but Sunday is a coming. So yes, we do celebrate the sacrifice and we remember that, but Sunday is a coming when we celebrate Resurrection Sunday. So yes, ma'am. Thank you for that comment. And Angie, good morning to all. Hope all. She says, hope all have a happy Easter. Thank you so much. And Wanda, good to have you in the chat. She says, good morning, Miss Bonnie and everyone. Praying y'all are doing well. Happy Easter weekend. We serve a risen Savior. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we do. And it's real. It's historical. Lots and lots of proof. Lots and lots of eyewitnesses. And we're going to talk about that towards the end. So please stay towards the end if you can. I have some really, really good verses to share with you. Anyway, and Wanda says, yes, Cynthia, Sunday is coming. Yes, ma'am. All right. Lost my place here. Be patient with. Thank you for your patience, y'all. I just have a lot to process here. And just to let you know, I am reading from the live chat. So if your chat mode is set to popular chat or something like that, things may be in a different order than what I'm reading. Anyway, hey Kelly, it's good to have you in the chat with us. She says, happy Easter, Bonnie and Hannah. Are you guys doing anything for Easter? Well, yes, we are going to be celebrating Resurrection Sunday with our church family. Probably have lunch with my sister and maybe any other friends that want to join us. It gets different when you have children, you raise your family, and then everybody is raising their own families in different parts of the country. So it's a little different in what we would as far as who would be at our Easter dinner. But we may even just have a quiet pizza at home, just to give the people who are out, working restaurants kind of a break, because I know they're going to be very busy. Yeah, I um, I guess that's not really giving them a break if I'm ordering a pizza, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we'll do. If nothing else, I can pull out some leftovers. But yeah, gonna just enjoy a quiet time with family after the service on Sunday. I wanted to talk to you about. Thank you for asking that question though, Kelly, because right before I went live, I was thinking of this beautiful tradition we used to do at our church in South Florida, in Hialeah. Obviously, we don't do it here because we're in Maryland and flowers aren't really blooming yet or anything. When I grew up in South Florida, flowers, you always had tropical flowers. My yard was full of them. My dad was a huge enthusiast, and just about everybody grew something beautiful in their yard. And what our church used to do is we would have a big cross that was just wood, and it had a lot of wiring, kind of like chicken wire all over it. And what would happen is church members would bring a flower or two from their yard and put it on the cross. So by the time we would leave, it would be just covered just in beautiful flowers. And this is not one of those designer crosses that I know some churches, they have a special designer do it, which is fine. This is beautiful. But this was something that we all contributed to. And I wish I had some pictures to show you, but back in those days in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up and living, we were too busy living life to just document everything with your selfie and all that. We didn't do that. We were too busy interacting in real life. We had real FaceTime, face to face, talking with each other. Sometimes I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but sometimes I wouldn't mind going back to that, where we'd have to call people on the phone, actually talk to them and not just leave a little text. Although all the modern technology is helpful. But anyway, that was one thing that we used to do when I was growing up. Of course, living up north where it's still too early to even plant anything, or you're going to get burnt. You're going to get a frost. I don't plant anything until, not going to say Labor Day. No, it's the wrong one. Memorial Day weekend. But anyway, so that was a tradition I really miss. During the pandemic, when I was staying full time with my mother-in-law, I remember spending a couple of Easters with her, and we would drive around and look at all the beautiful crosses that would be put outside by the churches, and they would have, somebody would decorate it with local flowers and stuff. And I'll put some pictures like that probably on my Facebook page too, just to remember all of that. Don't see a lot of that happening up where I am again because of the weather difference. But South Carolina, in the Myrtle Beach area, they do that, and it's just absolutely, it's just a beautiful tradition. All just we would just do a drive by of all the churches in the area, and just about all of them were doing that, and they were all different, and they were all so beautiful. Anyway, I went on and on. And yes, Kelly, I did get those pictures. I haven't downloaded them yet, so I'll have to look at those after the broadcast. But thank you for sending those in. And Karen from, is it Kincardine or Kincardine? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Ontario, Canada, joins us and says, Happy Easter. Great to have you with us, Karen. I would not have known that was your name because, the way YouTube is putting the little signs there, the signage, it's a little different now, but thank you for being here. And Alana, great to have you. Happy Easter to Bonnie family and all this wonderful gang of artists. Thank you. That is so well said. And Jesus Joy 7 says, Happy Good Friday to everybody. I hope and pray you all are doing well. It's a glorious sunny day in Southern California. Oh, fantastic. I hope your injuries are healing. I know you had some, I know it was a leg or knee or something like that. I know there was a couple things that went wrong months ago. I just let you know I'm still praying for you. I hope you're doing well. And my friend Barbara's in the chat. Christy. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here, Barbara. Hope you are doing well. So glad to have you as one of our friends. And Sandra says, good morning from a beautiful Southern California morning. Yay. Of course, it's noon here, but yeah, that will be getting to you guys for 3 more hours. So, wow. And Susie Pop's Creation, great to have you. Love seeing the things that you post online, by the way. It's so creative. And Ola Joe, good to see you, my friend. Welcome. And Phil, glad to have you from Lebanon, Indiana. So, wow, Phil's our resident trucker, goes coast to coast in places that many of us will probably never see, carrying all the things that we need. So thank you for your service to all of us, Phil. And Ola Joe says, Happy Good Friday to you and all that celebrate it. Amen. Thank you for that. And Jet One In, good to have you with us. And Carol G and the Corn Dogs, what a fun name. Good morning to you. I love your little emoji things there. And Miss Wanda Gordon, glad to have you. Thank you for the little notes there. Thank you, Kathleen, for the encouragement from Western Oregon. Wow. And is this Miranda, if I'm saying that right? Good to have you with us. Yeah, Ola just says, yeah, that's amazing. 46 years. Yeah, and it was old. I bought it secondhand. So yeah, I remember getting that. I remember seeing it in a shop, and most people didn't even know what it was. And I'm like, yeah, I wanted to get that so bad, and was able to scrounge up the money. My mom and dad helped me a little bit on it. And yeah, back in that day when I bought this, I don't know if, okay, I'm gonna reminisce a little bit. I was a huge fan of anything jazz, soft jazz, whatever. Played in the jazz band with my high school, and was a big fan of Chuck Mangione. I don't know if you ever remember hearing him. He's, like many other of the artists that I followed, is no longer with us. And his woodwind player named Chris Vidala was an amazing saxophonist and flautist. And he played an alto flute on one of the pieces that they played. And I just absolutely fell in love with that sound. So was able to acquire one. Don't use it a whole lot, but I just love the tone on it. But anyway, thank you, Carlene, for your kind encouragement. Thank you. And welcome Kim from Texas. And Jan, she says, I love the flute. Well, thank you. It's such a fun instrument. I don't and to be honest, I don't play it that much hardly. I'm not practiced up like I was when I was doing my recitals in college and all that, but, it's fun to pull it out every so often, and I'm just really just really thankful to be able to play with, my church worship band every so often, so that's just been an incredible blessing to me to be able to pull it out again. Anyway, Grammy Rita says, "Hello, everyone. Have a blessed holy weekend." I'll wave right back at you. Thank you so much. And Cindy says, "Good morning, Cindy and Adventures." Um, and Jan says, "I tried to learn the flute, but I couldn't read the music." Yeah, I understand that. That can take some time. I was just blessed enough to be able to play in band, learn through my junior high years and then into high school. And my band directors, again, the late Max Sutton, was just a huge help in helping me to learn how to read music. Um, and we have Jewel, Jewel from East Texas. Well, welcome. And Armel from says Reims. Is that Romania? I'm sorry. Please forgive my ignorance here. I'm sorry, but so you're so welcome here. And Carlene says, praising and thanking Jesus with you. Thank you, Carlene. And Phil says, speaking of being far from earth, where do you think heaven is located? Just something to ponder. That's a good question, Phil. Um, that's actually a profound question. I'm not prepared to answer that right now, but I do know that the Lord has this, and I know it's real, and I have a reservation there. Um, Again, not because of anything I've ever done, but because of what He has done for me on this day specifically, on Good Friday, paid the penalty for all of my sin and many others who trust in Him. So, yeah, that's a profound question. Um, but we do know it's real. And good morning to you, and good Friday to you, Ginny. And Wanda says there will be 13 of us for Easter lunch after church. That's fantastic. Um, and Jewel says that's a lot. Yeah, it is. That reminds me of when my family was here. You know, we had 5 children plus my husband and me, my sister usually, and my mom was living with us. So every Sunday, oh wow, every Sunday was was a big dinner. So anyway, and if you had another family join you, then whoo, big time. So Hannah just sent me a message, says that Heidi D. Potter, if I'm saying that right, used to play the saxophone. Very cool. That is again, one of my favorite instruments too. I used to play saxophone in high school with the jazz band. I played alto, played tenor for a musical production of Grease in high school. Yeah, ooh, that was kind of wild, kind of rattles your teeth out. But those of you who've played like a low clarinet, like a bass clarinet, or tenor or a bari sax, you know what I'm talking about. Just loosens all the dental work, so you have to be careful. But yeah, great instrument. I sold my saxophone back around 1984, I think it was, to help pay rent. So I don't have the saxophone any longer. I think, hoping to one day have a better one. So I sold that one, hoping I would one day, when things were going better, that I would, maybe get another one. But decided to spare everybody the pain and not play the saxophone in the home any longer. So people are probably happy about that. But anyway, and to see, DL Crisp is here, says Good Friday makes me sad because of the suffering of our Savior. Absolutely. Um, I was thinking of that this morning too, because it wasn't just the physical. I mean, if I can talk about this without needing a towel, not just the physical pain that he suffered, but the public shaming. I mean, the an unjust trial, the mocking of the soldiers, the crown of thorns, the torture before the torture of the cross, um, being, I think probably the most painful thing he probably experienced before the cross would be the forsaking of a friend, being betrayed by Judas Iscariot in the Garden of Gethsemane, which again, all this is real. I've been to the Garden of Gethsemane as millions of people have, to see where this all took place, just across the way there, down past the Kidron Valley in Jerusalem, up the hill to Gethsemane. Yeah, I mean, he suffered greatly, betrayal, um, so much, and then taking on the sins of the world, both past, present, and future. I mean, it's again one of those, like the question that Phil asked. It's a mystery how this all works out, but we can trust. Yeah, and being denied by Peter, as Hannah asked. Yes, um, even during the kangaroo court, so to speak. Um, yeah, with just a whole suffering on every in every way, on every level. Um, yeah, but Sunday is a coming, right? Sunday is coming, and Sunday did come historically. So yeah. Um, yeah, and we're going to talk more about that towards the end. And Jan says, I'll also have daffodils and tiger kitties. Oh, wow. Is that tiger lilies or kitties? Maybe it's a different flower I'm not familiar with. There's a lot of flowers I'm not familiar with. And Jan says, and lots of hostas. I know hostas. Yeah. Um, and Trish Crow says, good afternoon from Sparta, Michigan. Wow. Welcome. Welcome from the Midwest there. Um, and Jan says, I have tulips coming up from the previous owner. Fantastic. That's really cool. We used to have daffodils in our yard, but I think they just don't pop up anymore. We've been here 23 years. I think the soil that we planted them in was just not very good. And I am not a very good gardener. I do what I can. I'm going to try it again this year. And Jesus Joy 7 says, yes, Bonnie, thank you, hubby. Quads are still healing, recovering from cellulitis. That's very serious. Thank God for his blessings. Okay, that's a little more specific than I was realizing. Yeah, that's very serious. Do you get over that? And Phil says, feels so good. Great song. Rest in peace, Chuck. Absolutely. Yeah, that was the title cut, I think, that kind of projected him. We're again talking jazz. We're jumping all around, talking about Chuck Mangione. I was just really blessed since I was working. When I was in high school, I worked a part-time job, so I had some extra money just for fun things. I had a very old car that I tried to keep running. It was a 1971 Toyota Corona. If you even know what that is, it was a four-door. It was beautiful. My dad helped me to repaint it. To do it the right way with a air compressor, and he was such a great guy. He could just do anything. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I got to see him in concert 2 times, once in Fort Lauderdale at a theater out in the sticks. It's probably surrounded by all kinds of things now, but in the late 70s, it was out in the sticks, and I got to see him downtown Miami Beach. And both concerts were fantastic. I still have my album signed by him. Yeah, yeah. I really wanted to meet Chris Vidala. I never did get the chance to meet him, and I know he passed away several years earlier from cancer. So, yeah, the whole band, rest in peace. But it was one of the very few straight up instrumental groups. There were no words sung to the songs, but they broke into the pop scene, which was unheard of. So it was quite amazing. And then in 1976, he and his band performed the music for the Olympics. He wrote the Olympic theme, and it's on an album called Fun and Games. If any of y'all are into nostalgia about soft jazz, but yeah. But thanks for remembering that, Phil. Yeah, good times. And Heidi, welcome. Glad to have you here.
And Trish says, I want to learn the violin. I can play the piano. Ooh, yeah. I hope you can. Um, I hope you have a good ear because you really need to have a good ear for those whole tones and semitones and stuff on those strings. But yeah, great instrument to learn too. I studied the viola a little bit when I was a college music education major. Kind of wished I had tried the cello instead because yeah. So if you're reading, you're good at reading bass clef and treble clef on a piano. You'll be fine with the violin. If you try learning, I learned to my dismay. If you try learning the viola, you have to learn to read from a different type of a clef, and it's really really hard to get that down. For once you're lockstep in with treble and bass clefs. But anyway, and Susie says. Wait a minute, wait. Okay, it says hello to Hannah. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Susie. Um, and Heidi, welcome to you. She said, okay, again, the saxophone player, very cool. I wonder if you even still have that saxophone. Um, I know those things are really valuable. Probably could have gotten more for mine had I tried, but anyway, I needed to pay rent that month, so things were tight. I remember that well. And Jan says, I guess in response to a question that was asked earlier, says, "Heaven is out of this world. I have my reservation too, Bonnie." Well, Jan, when we get up there, I'm not in a rush right now because I want to see my grandkids a little more. But when we get up there, my friend, please come to my house and stay for at least 1,000 years, okay? Um, I'm sure there'll be plenty of yarn. We'll be fine, and the food's going to be great. And Trish said, "My son can play the alto saxophone, and my daughter plays the violin, cello, and piano. Very excellent. Wow, great. That that's just a great skill to have. It's great for later on in life. I'm told, just like the needle arts can help, with the brain function. Music can do the same because it uses a different part of the brain, but it's supposed to be pretty good. Okay, thank you, Hannah. The lilies you said autocorrect got to her. Yeah, I figured, there's a lot of flowers I don't know, but yeah, so tiger lilies, I guess that's what they were. Yeah, okay. Um, I'm a little scattered today. And Heidi says to Trish that got a musical family. Yeah, that's wonderful. Trish says yes, as my granddaughter also plays an instrument. Very good. Um, I kind of wish my kids had picked up a little bit more, but that's okay. They picked up on other things. I have a couple of the kids. I tried music lessons with some, and some kids just like this is just not my thing, and it's like what, I love you anyway. It's okay, not a problem. Um, and I think my son Caleb plays guitar. He's done fairly well with, oh, very well with that actually. He does electric and the pedal boards and all that stuff. And I think Joseph, my son Joseph, could pretty good on the harmonica, and he's pretty good on the. He is learning guitar. He has one of my guitars. So anyway, I'm getting into weeds here. Anyway, and Jan says Pastor. I don't know who this is. A pastor Franklin plays the sax. Free Chapel in Georgia. Beautiful. Wow, I'll have to try to look that up, Jan. And Mary wants to know if I got her email. I usually respond when I get emails, Mary. So unless it came in the last 2 hours, probably not. I think I've responded to everybody that has emailed me. So if you can try again, that would be great. I'm also going off the top of my head, so I'd have to go do some digging to see what that would be in reference to. Sorry. And Jesus Joy 7 says, I pray those that don't know the love of God do. We need you all in heaven so we can continue our yarning group forever. God gave his life for all. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Totally, totally agree. Um, and Heidi says, emotional times. I would love to see it too. Yeah. Thank you, Jan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Heidi says, I love spring flowers. Wonderful. Well, let me go ahead and let me just tell you a couple things on my docket. I don't have a lot. I do have one brand new thing, and let me go ahead and show you. It's not out yet. This won't be out uh, probably for a month or two, but it'll be something for the summer to look forward to. This is a very simple, very, very simple scarf. Um, and and it's totally, totally reversible. Okay. And what I love about it, this the name of this yarn is called Swappin' Yarns. I got this from my friend the yarnsmith at a conference last year sometime. And what I love about this color is it just matches so well um, to jeans. And I have a few jeans jackets, and I know this will just match the jeans jackets really well. Um, Again, it's just a one Hank Wonder, and I still have some extra yarn, so I could have even made it longer, but I didn't want to. And what's great about this is, you can wear it as a regular scarf, just kind of as an accent piece. Do that a lot. You can tie it if you want. I mean, you can just do whatever. You can get out your shawl pins if you want, and you can wear it. It's just mostly just kind of like a little, just an accent piece. And if you have just, an extra, like, if you have like an extra crazy colored skein in your stash, and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, and it's just one. So this is a project you can make, and it's one of these more meditative, kind of a mindless kind of a stitch. It's very much, I'll go ahead and show you how one side looks, and then you'll flip it for the other side. One side you're going to see the back side of what is traditionally the back side of a double crochet, and on the other side you're going to see the front side. And I think both look really, really beautiful. You could also vary the colors. You could combine this with another color and do stripes. I mean, there's a lot you can do with it. You can make this project to use up just extra, little pieces, little bits and pieces that you have left over, and just kind of try to match it up, however. So that'll be coming in the summertime, when I know a lot of people, are busy outside. Also, this was released, I guess it's been a week. Has it been a week? Oh, I guess it was released on Monday. The Florida Sunset shawl. I'm really sorry that this color is not available from the Indie Dyer, but honestly, you don't need the exact yarn. And again, I would encourage, just, you can use, any kind of yarn, really. You can use solid color yarn, but I just thought this wattle stitch is just a really good stitch for multicolored ombre kind of yarns. I know a lot of you like to use those, and a lot of the stitches that I use primarily, like with the cabling and all, it doesn't lend itself to a lot of fast color changes, but these projects do. So that's why I'm recommending that. And if you don't want to invest in superwash merino wool, in the fancy pants, as I say, kind of yarn, just use your acrylics or whatever you have in your stash. If you don't want to use the thin, make it thicker. Use your worsted weight, use your DK weight. I wouldn't go thicker than worsted weight yarn, but I think a DK weight would be great for this, and still give you plenty of drape. Well, I guess the drape is really more dependent on the yarn and the hook size that you use. But anyway, so check this out. It is on the channel. It's a very easy pattern to start, and once you start it, you can make it really as small or as big as you like. And one thing I had fun with is where the color is more solid, like this is more solid pink, and then you see more of an orange color here. I simply added a strand of of a lace weight alpaca yarn that I had from the same indie dyer. Or if you have mohair in your stash and you want to give it a go and just add that little layer, it can help, break up, all of this, the rest of this color, kind of give it a little more interest. So I just had a lot of fun experimenting with that. So this is available on the channel. And if you're looking for something springy, I do have my wisteria scarf, and we do have the wisteria throw that is on the channel. Again, a very once you understand how the cables work, it's very, very repetitive, very redundant. But once you get that first repeat down and you understand when to cross these large honeycombs and how to cross just one side of them with the 4-post cable. Again, the video explains all of that, and the pattern has a stitch diagram showing what the stitches are doing. One other thing I wanted to mention real quick. This is April 3rd, so that means 7 more days to get your pictures in. I've gotten a lot of pictures. I have room for many more. So if you are working on the Celtic Sampler Throw, those of you who are new to the channel, all that information is in the video description. You can, look at that afterwards maybe. But I would love to see the colors you're using. I would love to include your work in the slideshow. And I don't want to put pressure on anybody. Oh, it means I have to finish it in 10 or 7 days. No, 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 you don't. You don't. I don't care if you just have this part started. Send me a picture. I will include it in the slideshow. I want everybody to be included who wants to be included in this. And I just love doing this. I love seeing the colors. For those of you who maybe haven't updated your pattern in a while. Let's say you bought this right at the beginning. I just to want you to know I did make some edits, so you can go to Lovecrafts and try to get the updated version. If you can't or don't know how to do that, you can always email me, bonniebay@me.com. If you purchase the pattern on Etsy, just tell me that. I can look that one up. I can't look up the one on Lovecraft. So I would need you to, if you could verify the purchase there, and then I can send you the updated version if you can't download it automatically from Lovecrafts. I know that's really hard to do on Etsy. So if you want to email me, should you want, the most recent updated version. I mean, nothing has changed as far as the video instruction is there. It's reliable, it's dependable. And the written pattern for the most part has been too. The little differences have been very minute, very small. And I did someone emailed me, and I'm forever thankful to you, about just the red crossings on one of the Saxon cable stitch diagram. I mean, it went through tech editing. I didn't realize it wasn't exact the way it should have been. And many other people have accomplished this pattern, no problem. And someone's like, shouldn't this be this? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I was able to correct that immediately and get that updated. So those of you who want a fresh copy, who have already purchased one, you can, again, email me. Email is in the video description as well. All right. So, and if you're seeing this over the weekend, give me time, because Saturday and Sundays, I basically stay away from the computer and do not interact with social media and whatnot, especially on Easter. So give me at least until Monday to get back to you if you have questions over the weekend. Again, especially as you're seeing this broadcast, maybe, the recording of it. And Hannah's asking, okay, where can the pattern be found that you're talking about? There's a link in the video description of this video that'll take you right to it. It's available at Lovecrafts and at Etsy, my Etsy stores. So anyway, there's all that is in the video description. All right, so what else do we need to do here? Oh, my nose is itchy. Let me give you a couple dates so that we can catch up on that. The Frederick Fiber Festival is coming up April 25th. That's in 22 days. Whoa. So I need to get busy. So I'm going to be having all my books, leaflets from Leisure Arts that I've written are going to be available. I'll be available there to sign anything if you want me to. Not presuming that anybody's going to want that, but if you do, I'll be there to do that. If you stop by, please tell me. And if you say, oh, I watch your YouTube channel or Friday Live or whatever, come talk to me. I have something I just have a little giveaway for you. Um, just want to bless you and just a small way of saying thank you for your online support here. I'm also going to try to have a rack with some samples. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have these samples available for sale, or these, because these are pretty current designs, but some of my older designs where I have a crocheted sample, I'm going to have many of those available for sale. So it'll be reasonable prices. I mean, it's not going to be Walmart discount prices, but I will have a lot of those available should anybody be interested and looking through those. And some of these, going to be, on the older side as far as, older designs, but I will have a lot there available should anybody want to purchase those. I generally don't sell them on Etsy and all because it's just a lot of work to photograph, list, and then box and ship. And I tried this early on, and a lot of the items just sat there and just didn't sell. So it's just easier for me to, do it this way in a public forum so people can look at them and I've sold a lot of things that way. It's kind of funny. I'll tell you another story. There's the Inishman poncho. I keep that usually center on my table because that design alone will attract people to my table. And I remember one guy, the last time I did this, he wanted to buy that, and I'm sorry, sir, but that's not for sale. That's my centerpiece for my display table. Well, I'll give you, such and such amount of money. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but you can make another one. And I'm like, yeah, I could, but I don't have the time to. So it's just funny. We went back and forth. I think he went up to like $400. And I'm like, sorry, I don't have the time to remake that. And it's my centerpiece for this table. But anyway, it was just kind of fun. But I have sold a number of pieces there, and I'm going to have some there. That's going to be April 25th at the Frederick Fiber Festival, which is at the Frederick, Maryland Fairgrounds. So if anybody needs to know that, you can look that up. It's easy to find. I'll be posting about it as we get closer. The Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is going to be at the Howard County Fairgrounds May 2nd and 3rd. Don't know if I'm going to be in town yet. I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to be in Chicago or not. There's just a lot of moving parts with family members and different things happening in April, towards the beginning of May. So I'm not sure where I'm going to need to be. But if you are in the Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, DC, Virginia area, it is so worth the drive to go to the Howard County Fairgrounds for this. I don't know what the entrance fee is going to be this time. It's changed every year, but it is well worth it. There will be hundreds of vendors there. Now, the Frederick Fiber Festival is also excellent. There is over 100 vendors coming to Frederick. It's a lot of yarn, trust me. Either of these, you're going to be tired, but if you come to the Maryland one, bring your best walking shoes. I was going to say, if you have one of those cane things that has a chair attached to it, you might need it. It's a huge event, and you're probably not going to be able to see everything, so you have to pick and choose what you want to do there. Both events, although I highly, highly recommend. And again, if you come to Frederick Fiber Festival, come by and see me. You don't have to buy anything. If you just tell me you watch the channel or Friday Fun or whatever, I've got something for you. No purchase is necessary. I'm not giving them out to everybody. I'm not giving them out to the general population, just to people who come up to me. Okay. I want to support those who support me. and I'm deeply grateful for that, to be able to do that. So anyway, let me get back to our chat, which I have gone woefully behind on. All right. Heidi says, I would love to learn how to play the cello, but I have a busted shoulder, so it will not happen. Yeah, that might be kind of hard. Looks like they rented their instruments. Yeah. Yeah, I rented my flute when I was learning for the first time. My parents rented that, and when they realized that I was really serious and going to stick with it, that's when I was able to get my own. And I know it was a big sacrifice for my parents. Even though it was just a student instrument, I knew it was a huge, huge sacrifice. And Trish wants to know, okay, will I be signing books? Absolutely. At the Frederick Fiber Festival. Yeah, when people ask, absolutely. I will definitely take time for that. And if anybody is, just to let you know, I do have my crochet books back in my Etsy store since I'm home for a few weeks here. I'm not planning on going anywhere for a while. So the books, if you're looking for, a signed book or personalized book, or if you have a crochet friend that you think you would want to get a personalized book to, just check out my Etsy store. There's a link for that in the video description. I do sign them, and if you want me to sign it to a special person, I can certainly do that. Not a problem. Just let me know. And most of them, well, they ship for free in the US. I only ship in the US just because of the cost. People outside the US, let's say in Europe and places, Australia, places like that, you can get them on Amazon cheaper than I can sell it to you and send it to you, because the prohibitive expense of shipping, even just to Canada. And I have so many Canadian friends. I've shipped things in the past at my own expense, and it was like 2 to 3 times the value of what I'm shipping. So that's why I say these online resources are just a far better way to get books if you're looking for that. And I have a question. Do you have any advice for someone who would like to try mosaic crochet? I do. I have a friend, Susan. Um, I'd have to look her name up. You can email me, bonniebay@me.com. What is her last name? I can't remember. I'm going brain dead here. But I have a friend, Susan Lohman. Thank you. It's a little slow today. Susan Lohman has a wonderful YouTube channel, and I would love to refer you to her for mosaic crochet. Definitely check out her channel. I think her channel's called The Crochet Architect, and she's a master at that. So rather than me try to, fidget with something that I'm not as experienced with, I want to point you to my friend Susan Lohman. So she's the one I would definitely check her channel out on that. Let's see. And Jesus Joy 7 says, I wished I'd kept up with music. Yep. I I I'm glad I did, to a point. I mean, it's one of those things that you have to really practice a lot. Where did I just had a bunch of things load, and yikes. Okay, here we go. I found out where I am. I'm way behind. Yeah, it's I guess I've kept up enough with it so that it has stuck. I can pull it out of the closet, and um I wouldn't audition for the, Washington Philharmonic or anything, but I wouldn't have my chops are not to that level. But yeah, to pull it out and play, it's a lot of fun to do that. Love it. And actually, and that's what music is all about. I think too, it's just much more enjoyable. Just have fun with it. You don't have to know everything to really enjoy something. And Carol says, he is risen indeed. Happy Good Friday, Hannah, Bonnie, and all. Carol Beth from Oregon, on the road to Monterey, California to visit family. Enjoy Friday fun. Well, that's excellent. Have a safe trip, Carol. Be careful. And Brad's mom's having a discussion talk with Jan. And let's see, Melanie says, I played flute as a kid, want piano now. Yeah, piano is a great instrument. I love guitar. I cannot lie. And I'm not comparing the two. I mean, they're both great instruments, but I love how, a guitar or a flute or a whistle or something, you can just pack it up and take it with you. They're not heavy to move. Yeah. Um, all right. Thank you, Hannah, for letting me know that. She's been busy helping Grandma get lunch, but thank you for doing what you can, sweetheart. Okay, okay, Mary, I'll make a note of looking that up. Don't know if that's been filtered out with spam or what. I promise I'm not ignoring you. Now, I may have answered you. This is another thing that popped into my head. My reply could be in your spam folder, so please check your spam folder. Let me see if let me look at something real quick. I will check on this. I'm checking. Okay, I did get your email. Yes, I did get your email. I just have not responded. I have put that in my collection, but yes, I did just open it, and yeah, I will get back to you. But thank you for sending in the picture of your throw. Yes, I did get it. I have so many things in the email. Sometimes it's easy for it to slip. I apologize for that. Oh wow. Okay. And Heidi says, I love shawls. I need to protect my neck. I love to drape them. Yes, they're a lot of fun. There's so much you can do with shawls. You can wear them as a shawl, wear them as a, kind of a big scarf in the front and tie it in the back. It's just such a nice accent piece, and functionally just keeping that area warm. It's a nice layer. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, you got bit by autocorrect again. I love that yarn color. Yeah, I got it. It happens to all of us. Ugh. Um, oh, wow. Phil says, I watched a video from Nitty Natty from a year ago, but learned that Jimmy Bean's yarn shop owns Madelinetosh now. I did not know that. I did not know that either. Wow. Um, thank you, Mary. Sorry about the confusion there on the email. And Jesus Joy 7 says, what beautiful texture red shawl. Still working on your sampler. Slow going. Yeah, make sure you get that picture in if you haven't already. Yeah, throws are a little bit slower. I'm designing another throw, you all. I can't tell you too much about it. My watch folks who came to the watch hangout, they know what it is. But yeah, it's slow going. And when you're designing it and the rows have over 240 stitches, it's slow going. Yeah, definitely. Where are we on time here? And is it Manila Shirley says, hi, Bonnie. I started that Easter blanket back in the year that you published that pattern. I ran into a dilemma with my color and didn't get it finished. I will finish it though. Not a problem. There's lots of time. And I do have an Easter throw, and you don't have to only crochet it for Easter. You can work on that all year long. I work on stuff all year long that has nothing to do with the season that we're in, just for the sheer joy of crocheting. Okay. And she also says, I would love to come see you, but I don't have access to a car now, and I'm hooked on oxygen at home these days. I know what that looks like. My mom was on oxygen as well. I've wanted you to sign my book I bought for a long time. Oh, well, that's just my luck. Um, Well, email me, Shirley, bonniebay@me.com. Email me. I need to know where you are. If you're in the US, we can get this done, okay? Um, yeah, and I know I'm so sorry that you are on oxygen. I I know what a pain that can be. Um, and my mom never had those little packs that you can carry like a bag with you. Um, we always had to deal with the heavier tanks, and it was hard. That was hard. God bless you. Um, and Trish Crow says, I'm working on the Inishman poncho and the basic knit dishcloth. Excellent. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your sweet comment there about the videos, Manila Shirley. And Cree says, I guess that's Karen, says, I'm on row 63 of the wisteria throw. Yay. I guess that means you got it. um, and let's see. County Calling says, I'm new to the channel. Where can this pattern be found? I'm not sure which pattern you're looking for, but if you're looking for this one behind me, this is in the video description. You can just look down there. This is called the Celtic Mandala Throw. And if there's another one you're looking for, you can always email me and try to describe it, and I'll be glad to try to help you. Also, on my channel, it's arranged, just to let you know, it's arranged in different ways depending on how you look at it. If you want the most recent videos, you just click on videos and it'll show you the most recent videos. Um, and go from most recent to oldest. If you want to look for something specific, go to the playlist. You have to kind of scoot over to the right side and click on playlist, and it's kind of disseminated into, hats, scarves, shawls and stoles, ponchos, throws, whatnot. So hopefully, you can find what you're looking for. And if not, like I said, just you're free to email me. I'll get to you as soon as I possibly can. And we love new folks here. So thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's what keeps this channel alive. And we have Diane from New Jersey. Welcome, Diane. And let's see. Oh, okay. Um, Manila Shirley says, I'm in Western PA, about 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. Bless you. Bless you all too. I'm putting color in my blanket. That's why I'm at a roadblock. Well, Shirley, Manila Shirley, if you have a way, transportation, and a way to get to the Pittsburgh Fiber Festival, it's going to be in Mars, PA this year. It's called Stitchburg. Um, it's just outside of Pittsburgh, north on the northwest side. Actually, I guess it's kind of north. But anyway, that's going to be in August. So I so hope you can get someone to help you with those tanks. And if you can come to that, you're going to have a wonderful time. So, if you could like kind of stay in the hotel, camp out in the hotel room and have your extra oxygen there. I would absolutely love to meet you and would love for you to be able to interact with some of the wonderful people there. It's really down to earth, good group of people. And Cynthia says, is the most recent Hangout video on the Watch channel? Cynthia, no, I did not record that. It wasn't really a formal class or instruction. We did talk about putting your sweaters away for the winter, but I'm also going to be doing a separate video from my YouTube channel, which I will be adding to Watch as well on what I talked about there. But no, it was more of a small social gathering, so I did not put that up there. But we did miss you. Sorry that you know that you weren't able to come to that. And some of you may wonder, what am I talking about? The Watch channel. The Watch channel is a paid subscriber channel that is $7.95 a month or $79.50 for the year. It is a channel where the best of my content is. When I release new things here on YouTube, I also put them on the Watch channel. But the thing that's different about the Watch channel is there are no commercials, no interruptions, there's no spam. And whenever I release like new designs like these, the shawl, um, scarf, everything, um, my Watch subscribers get a complimentary pattern. They don't have to purchase anything. So And about once a month, we try to do either a group hangout on Zoom, or I sometimes bring in a guest teacher. Sometimes I'll teach, something on a particular cable or some other thing. This past week, I talked about preserving your sweaters. After once the winter, once spring has decided that it's going to let go of us, let go of winter. Once the lion, comes in like a lion, out like a lamb. Well, once the lamb shows up, we want to put those sweaters away in the best possible way to preserve them. And I just talked about that, some of the basics. Um, and I'll be putting a video out on that as well. Manila Shirley, okay, says, I don't have transportation. I appreciate that. Fortunately, I can't make it. Sounds like a very invigorating trip and event. Yes, it can be. I think it's something worth pursuing. I know it is an investment of time and finances, but um, the reason I even mentioned the one in Pittsburgh, it's one of the most economical ways of attending a conference like this. One of the most economical one that I've ever participated with. Um, the price of my classes are much lower, and it's more accessible than it is with other organizations, which I'm not even going to mention here. But anyway, um, yeah. So Diane, great to have you here from New Jersey. Um, I'm going to skip over some dialogue down here. Okay, Phil looks like Hannah asked him if you're going to see a race this weekend. And Phil says, no, I reload tonight. Then I'm headed to Salt Lake City, Utah. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm hoping to be able to go there at some point later in the year. He has a load of Hershey snacks. Oh boy. That sounds delicious. Keep that air conditioning running for those, I guess, right? Um, yeah, so let me see. We are at 1 o'clock here. So, um, so Hannah even asked that question. Does that mean the truck would be refrigerated because chocolate tends to melt in warm weather? It's not this time. I think it is non-perishable snacks. Oh, cool. All right. And Jan says, Chicago. um, yeah, Jan, I'll let you all know more as we get closer. I've been on the fence about this one, just trying to keep an eye on family members and their health, and I'm just not comfortable being too far away from home with that happening. So thank you, Hannah, for doing that. Let me see if there's anything else that I really need to respond to. I'm just so glad everybody's here. Holy Hummer, I love that name. Says greetings from Central California. Well, welcome. That's fantastic. Um, Thank you, Carlene. It just says, I love your watch channel. Everyone, please consider joining it as the one provides. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's I like doing that. I wish I could do more for you all on that channel, honestly, but there's just this thing called time. Um, mm. And Karen says, I heard them tariffs are horrible. Yeah, I guess that's in reference to shipping outward, shipping, selling overseas. Or anywhere outside the US. They always have been. That's nothing new. I mean, the tariffs that I have, that people pay when they buy my online PDFs from outside the US, that's nothing new. That's been for many years. Anybody from the UK, from Canada knows that whenever they buy one of my patterns, they have to pay extra, pay their government extra because it's coming from outside. Yep, there's nothing new under the sun about that. Um, yeah, and I understand what they're doing. I get it. All right. Oh, all right. So thanks for helping um, about the mosaic pattern stuff, Susie Pops. Thank you for recommending somebody else too. I appreciate that. And thank you, Brat's mom. Says the watch channel is outstanding. Good, clean, fun, and lots of it. Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, I do have a lot of other things on there, other behind the scenes kind of videos. There's even one about, well, I won't get into all of it, but there's extra stuff that does not go public there. So yeah, got to keep it secret, keep it safe, right? Um, all right, so I think I'm gonna need to transition here. I appreciate all your comments. I so appreciate y'all participating with me in this way. So I wanted to transition to reading something in regards to Good Friday, and I hope I can say this well. This is a very important day on our calendar, and quite frankly, without Good Friday, we would not celebrate Christmas. There'd be none of that. There probably wouldn't even be a Christian calendar for that matter. We certainly wouldn't be, um, yeah, celebrating Easter or anything. Um, but I want to talk about the. Let's see, how do I even start this? That Good Friday historically, and we're because of the way it falls with Passover this year, it's very close, to the calendar, to the original Good Friday timeline, and that's just the day that two enemies of Jesus, bold enemies of Jesus, had a change of heart, and I want to talk a little bit about them. And if there's anybody out there listening and you need a change of heart in regards to this, I just beg of you to consider the truth and the historical backing that the Holy Scriptures have. Um, and trust me, I'm aware that I'm a sinner. I'm aware that there are a lot of people who attend church, call themselves Christians, and maybe have hurt you at some point, or not been the loving example that you needed at an important time. I understand that. I mean, that's a human problem, and certainly going to church does not make you perfect. Jesus does, and none of us who are walking on the earth right now have reached that level of perfection, and we will probably continue to sin in some way until the day that we go home to be with the Lord. And on that day, we'll be redeemed totally, cleansed of the sin in our life. But the cross is actually the provision that cleans us and makes it even possible for us to go to heaven. But I want to talk about um, okay, I want to talk about the thief on the cross, um, because on that day, he was he was treated like a criminal in many ways, and worse, and made a public spectacle in the worst possible way. And I'm reading from Luke 23 verses 39, starting with 39 to verse 43. Should you want to look this up, it's in the Gospel of Luke. And it says, one of the criminals who were hanged railed at him, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." And he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus, said to him, "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." And if there's nothing else in Scripture that gives you hope, this should give you hope. Here is a man nailed to a cross, a convicted criminal, um, on his way to die, and he turns his heart to believe in Jesus, that he says he is who he says he is. And Jesus promises that he doesn't have time to get off the cross to do any good works. He has no chance to do anything. Just his faith alone that this is the Son of Man. He's so convinced
seeing how Jesus even behaves through all that he's been through. Um, and Jesus promises he will be with him in paradise. Um, how remarkable is that? And and I think even more so in my mind is another person, an enemy of Jesus, and this even more so, a centurion. A centurion was basically a man who has risen through the ranks of being a soldier in the Roman army. Roman army, if you've heard anything about it, it's pretty ruthless. They punished things pretty quickly, pretty severely. So he's a centurion. He's just not just an average soldier. He is one who has risen through the ranks. He's probably overseen many crucifixions, probably a really tough guy, if you can imagine. But anyway, and one of his jobs was to carry out the executions of the state of Rome. Um, like I said, this was probably a regular part of his vocation. He's probably seen many people crucified. And it says in the scriptures, and when the centurion who stood facing him saw that in this way he breathed his last, he said, truly, this man was the Son of God. So, this is such an important day. And this just encourages me so much. I mean, there was so much evidence, even in the way Jesus died, that people who had been set against him suddenly turn. So if that's you, I mean, who have never, made a profession of faith, I mean, what's stopping you? I mean, it's such an important thing, very, very, very important. And I would just encourage you to consider to not let um, bitterness towards a person because they sinned against you to keep you from what's most important in life. That would just, you know, be what I want to plead with you. And yeah, we want to all be there. We want to see you on that day. Um, but anyway, I hope this encourages you. And again, very, very important day. But Sunday is coming. Sunday is coming. So I hope you all have a wonderful Easter. And I hope to be here next Friday. And until then, God bless. All right, just got to find the button. Ah. All right, I'd still find. Okay, that's all right.